Two things I absolutely own, both as a person and as a coach, are being direct and being honest. And luckily for me, these are highly requested traits, at least in the coaching requests that come my way. Maybe there's others that I don't see, but directness and honesty can absolutely be superpowers if wielded appropriately, sensitively, and with that real positive, supportive intent. Even my own daughter has said to me, "Mommy, one of the things I love about you is your honesty. I can always get an honest opinion." So in this conversation snippet, Kate and I talk about our coaching styles, and I talk about why my coaching style might be a little bit different from some of the, in inverted commas, pure coaching that you might receive or have come across inside an organization. So let's dive in.
If I spoke to many people in our alumni, like, actually, how do you coach? Like, we all have our titles and we all know the nuts and bolts, mechanisms and theories. And do you know what I mean? But in our coaching rooms, it's, well, close the door and you coach the way you coach. And like, that is I think is really interesting. It's like, even though coaching is one word, I don't think it's one thing.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And the levels of insight and directiveness and that stuff as well, obviously, is going to vary massively. And I would definitely say that I know that people are looking at bios when they choose their corporate coach and things like that. So I know people are not coming for content-free coaching with me, that's for sure. Like that, I do some content-free coaching with the social work stuff. So with Frontline, because I have a supervisor there and they record your sessions and they want to make sure, and it's really cool actually that they look after you so well. There's just such a great example of how to look after a group of coaches. And so you get to like watch yourself and then go with the supervisor. And 100% I end up being more directive than I should. I still do, because I'm used to being more directive in my other coaching. So the way I contract is to say, look, pure coaching, content free, right? I am naturally slightly more directive, but it's only to the extent that I will put suggestions on the table, because I know that people sometimes are stuck and they want an expansion of possibilities, and they're never for you to think that I'm teaching or anything like that. And you can happily reject it and we can happily go, okay, good to know that that doesn't work for you. Let's find what does. And it's partly because I always make sure I'm receiving coaching, often through the MAP CP. And as part of that, I'm not interested in when people ping pong back to me. I'm like asking a question. I'm wanting some like, come on, I journal, I reflect, I talk. When I'm in a coaching session and I'm stuck, I need some direction.
Yeah. That is super interesting. I've just signed up for the Leadership Reimagined training program with Coaches Rising, which I'm super excited about. And as part of my beat up for that, I was listening to a podcast interview of Coaches Rising with Peter Hawkins, who's from the Henley. Yeah. And he really has some very pithy things to say about content.
Very inspirational.
Yeah, very inspirational. But he's very pithy about content-free coaching. He's like, this is not what we're here for. He said, you're just kicking around in the left hemisphere then, which is great. And there's absolutely a space for that. And he said, but here's the deal. AI can do that. That's where you ask great questions and the person thinks about a thing. But he says, it's all done in the left hemisphere. It's the logic brain, is what I call in my coaching is the logic brain. He said, what your job as an executive coach, he's like, gets right off the fence about this. He says, our job is to ask questions that push into the right hemisphere, that say, it's not what you want to happen now. It's what needs to happen now. What is moving through us? What is emerging as a result of this? And how we ask questions to help a client move into that space is quite different and has such a different energy. It's a slightly nerdy coach conversation to have with you.
I saw you mention about that in the group. And so it's really cool that you bring that up. And, we do have to be aware of, I've been coached by AI now. It was brilliant. So, we've got to be aware of what we're actually doing and what our focus is and what we contract for. So I think think a lot of it is then in that contracting and setting that stuff up really well. And so I contract for all kinds of things now because I'm being coached as well. I even coach for like, if you feel in any way that I've not heard you and you feel I've glossed over something, you know, that you've said that's important, please shout, because I've been in that position. I've been coached and I've felt not heard, and I've had to say, hold on, I've just shared a load of stuff and I don't really feel that that's been acknowledged, and you know, that's not okay.
Yeah. Is that around the clarity of what someone is coming for? Because there's so many big words in all of this, like coaching and executive and leadership and organization, like all these big words, and you've got to really find down into like so what does it mean? What are we talking about?
So one of my personal missions is to get each and every one of you started towards designing that life of your dreams and taking those first important steps in the direction of your 10-year vision. And so if you've been listening to recent episodes and feel like you do want to get started on this journey, but maybe you've got some ifs and buts, something's holding you back, I've got a really short quiz that might help you identify what's holding you back so that we can address it and hopefully get you started. So if that is of interest to you, just drop me a message on LinkedIn. I'm Maya Goodker there, or send me an email at info@mayagoodker.com and I will send you a link to that quiz. Look forward to connecting with you next time. Bye-bye.